Again, welcome back to the episode Learning League, episode 30. Wow, that's such a big number. Well, maybe it's gonna get go. It should probably grow a little bit more and more as we go on, I guess, right? Testing 1, 2, 3 is the episode name. It is the 12th month of the year, December 3rd. Yet again, I go through that failness, and yet again, we look at IPL 5. So, really quickly, if you didn't notice that I did this for MLG Dallas as well, the biggest difference between Team Fear and Quantic Gaming, I think that's the last big bit of analysis I did with the professional scene. Yeah, Team Fear, yet again, on the bottom of the playground. Me program also on the bottom of the playground as well. TSM did not have a great showing, and I could go over all those things truthfully and literally as well. But the biggest thing was these two little champions were over here, World Elite and Fnatic winning out the championship. Unfortunately, if you are looking for non-spoilers about IPL 5, spoiler alert, maybe 5 minutes ago, if I actually went back into the episode, probably would have said it, but if you haven't heard by now, well, here's the word. World Elite has been a dominant force. Although, when we say that, it's kind of awkward. Why is it awkward? Because World Elite, last time we saw them, well, technically for the world audience, they got beat by CLGU. They got distraught by CLGU, literally. After playing 7 to 10 games, literally it was like, what, 5 games maybe? But 7 to 10 games of restarts and restarting, and restop and restopping, and restarting, and stuff like that. And we saw that World Elite technically, if the first restart didn't happen, would have probably won that matchup 2-0 against CLGU, and probably would have been in the discussion for that final matchup against TPA Moscow, or TPA. It was TPA and Zubu. Oh, TPA and M5 on that secondary matchup, and a Zebra Frost as well. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, World Elite, we saw them pretty distraught because they lost out that matchup. Unfortunately, we didn't really hear from them again. I mean, they did have a show match over on the Telnet series that they were doing over there in China. That they had a show match against Moscow 5, and they lost to Moscow 5 as well. Although Moscow 5 was kind of being tryhardish. World Elite, not as much. They're having fun, trying to entertain the crowd and everything like that, whatever. But not too much of what was said about World Elite was kind of shown. And it was really interesting to see that World Elite never really showed anything to the point that in IPL 5 we really didn't know anything about World Elite yet again. Like the last time we saw them in Strat, not really doing well. And last time we did see them during last year when they did win IAM Guangzhou, they went to IAM New York and then they didn't do anything well. Slash, they had a lot of problems that happened during that time. So congrats to World Elite, but also congrats to them not really showing what's really up with them. And that can go back to the World Finals as well. TPA. We didn't really know anything about Taipei Assassins, and yet they didn't really show how great they were and such like that. And now TPA now, we know all about them. They stream. Toys streams a bit. We do see Baby sometimes streams online on Twitch, and you see the kind of downfall, the dynamic of that, where TPA got third. It was a respectable third because they had to climb all the way from heck and back, but got beat by Fnatic. Got beat by no, well, hold on, sorry. Got beat by Fnatic. Like really, that's a really interesting thought process into that. That maybe streaming for professional streamers, it's a good thing because you get money and stuff like that. So TSM and all the people, CLG Prime, Chris, NA, and stuff like that. Keep on doing that, stuff like that. That's great. But maybe streaming is gonna show how are your flaws and differences into actual gaming comes into play. And maybe that's what we saw with TPA with, people noticing, oh, this is what they do mechanically that we can kind of use differently, or maybe it's just because TPA has been now in the limelight, we can kind of see, oh, well, this is how we kind of play against them, and World Elite kind of knew that a little bit more. Although World Elite and TPA have played each other not too frequently, just a little bit frequently, but Fnatic versus TPA, that was a very big surprise because TPA being the big star, being the World 2 champions, didn't have anything on Fnatic. Fnatic, although it has been a really long-running champion kind of thing. I mean, they won season one, technically, but they've gone through like 20 lineup changes. That's the thing about the EU changes; they just happen so randomly and so quickly. Although CLG EU has been pretty legitimately stable, and Moscow 5 BenQ has been pretty stable. It's been pretty interesting to see where Fnatic was and now where Fnatic is, especially with Reckles, who again got picked up probably 3 to 4 months ago. Or I'm pretty much off of that because I haven't followed the EU scene. But I got pretty much picked up pretty recently. On top of that, XPK and all of them, so as and like everything has been pretty much a core group of Fnatic ever since Touche left. And Fnatic being there literally 3 days before because they got flown in because of alternate not being able to actually go, got second place. And again, this goes into, well, everybody had time to scout out, literally everybody, except for CLG Prime. CLG Prime got added in a week before, and yeah, Fnatic got added in 2 days before, 3 days before, whatever, same thing. And like we didn't know anything about Fnatic for the Western world, for everybody in the world, because Fnatic only won DreamHack, although DreamHack was paired up with IEM Singapore in that time, and it's kind of split. Fnatic won DreamHack, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Another spoiler, sorry about that. But Fnatic was a pretty strong team going into DreamHack, winning that, and now they come into Group A stage. They beat out Azubu Blaze, although a defeated Azubu Blaze still, and it just did so much to their efforts that they actually got second in IPL 5, which I would say is a major, major accomplishment. So congrats to Fnatic, congrats to World Elite. Again, really quickly, just harnessing the part of the episode. Yeah, they weren't seen. They weren't scouted as much as anything, just because they didn't think that World Elite was a big threat anymore. They were underrated, supposedly, from what the casters were saying a little bit as well. They were not really seeing Fnatic because they got added 3 days before. Like, who would have thought of them actually going all the way in as a fill-in team? Probably a little bit better than Armageddon from IM Singapore, but still, as a fill-in team, getting second place. And it's really important to say that this game of League of Legends comes down a lot to it by team play, team synergy, and stuff like that, and team fighting, blah blah blah. That's all great and all, but the one element that you really need is actually knowing your opponent, knowing their differences, knowing their tendencies and such like that. And if you don't have that onto onto major amount of people, you're gonna rely on your skill to play up onto this. And when you're at these like really high level events, skill level is pretty much even. Although you could say for Blackbean, me Playground, Iceland, Team Dynamic, not as well as the top tier players, but still skill level is pretty much even out throughout the whole universe, especially in the Asian world, especially in the EU world as well. Not so much in NA, but we'll go into that maybe in another episode. And if you have that kind of instance, the only advantage that you can get is that you scouted the other team a little bit better, and that's unfortunate for you because you don't have like a real grasp of it. That's why you probably saw Zubu Blaze fall. It's probably why you saw Type A Assassins fall. It's just because you couldn't really get that extra little bit to get in there and win. Although Fnatic and World Elite, they have some of the greatest players around. Calme, Reckles, Soaz, XPK. Um, I can't remember any other World Elite players right now. Sorry, Calme, you're a pretty boss. But um, it's just those kind of things that gives you that little edge. And if these tournaments keep on turning out like these really professional teams, slash these really great teams, that's pretty much what's going to be the difference. And it's pretty much who's going to be the most secretive about how they play to actually win out most of these games. So yeah, that's pretty much my thing about IPL 5. That's what I saw. Other than that, we're gonna be seeing some interesting stats for most of the champions out here. IPL 5, we saw Ezreal resurgence yet again. Oh my god, why is Ezreal played every freaking time? But Ezreal's coming back, and unfortunately for not having that W attack speed debuff, gets back to people playing Ezreal the old way, maxing out Q, giving out that damage, and doing some awesome work with that. Before season or during season one, before season two, before that that find was actually found, a lot of people use Ezreal just for the Mystic Shot and then use the E because the W used up so much mana per se and again, AD carries don't have that big of a mana pool. W was actually never evolved. Like I think I remember watching Cop's Guide or saw or Chris's Cop's Guide. He didn't get W till about a level 12, level 13 for his first rank onto it. He would just use Q and E and just bounce it off of there. And now we're back into the point where W is kind of useful, not the greatest, but it's kind of useful. It gives out extra poke. Q is, or Mystic Shot is just a very devastating ability. Gives us such a great 80 ratio. I think it's about 1.0. So Ezreal's coming back. Mobility, damage output, just so strong from the he slash whatever thing of awesomeness right there. Other things that were really interesting, I saw that the Diana pick was a very sought after pick. Moonfall on top of that, the Luna Rush that I've always talked about, slash a lot of people have talked about. Just such a great utility slash damage combo. Um, Moonfall should be getting a little bit nerfed, but pretty much Diana is probably going to get a little bit nerfed just because of how she was played. But seeing the stats, only 50% winning, that's pretty decent, but it's a really sought after pick, so I would say Diana is a really good one to get banned out sometimes. Katarina, not as much anymore because Katarina, I guess, just fell off a little bit. We did see some Master Yi from M5's Alex Itch. That was really fun to see. But overall, in general, nothing too different except for the last little thing. Everyone's been playing Lulu, and it's very uncomfortable for me, who is a Lulu player. But everyone's been playing Lulu, and Lulu should be receiving some nerfs. Again, the whole thing about Lulu before was her level 1, her level 3, level 2. Glitter Lance was just so broken, just had so much AP damage, and on top of that, just base damage as well. They're probably going to have to turn it down even more so, and tune down Help Picks. Help Picks was the shield item, sorry, the shield skill. Does a bit of damage and a bit of burst. On top of that, you pair that up with Glitter Lance, it just does a little bit too much burst. And it wins out lanes, and unfortunately, Lulu and other supports like that who have poke have gotten nerfed before. Sona has gotten nerfed with the Hymn of Valor. It had to get nerfed a little bit just because it was just doing too much in one little trade. And that's how League of Legends slash I feel like Riot kind of sees their opportunities in these games of testing. Like, oh, well, we're seeing that level 1 advantages being too much for gameplay per se when they hit crit chance and the Master Tree. Gotta stop that. Gotta do some rework on that. Now with Lulu, Help Picks, and Glitter Lance, they're probably going to have to limit down the base damage on there, and they're going to probably limit down how it scales out for, I think, the Glitter Lance yet again. So big things about Lulu are probably going to be changed, unfortunately. She was a pretty, really awesome support. So unfortunately, we'll see if Lulu can be still viable and such like that. And a lot of people are going to be playing the flavor of the month in Season 3. Nami is a really good champion. Although a little bit of my gripe is the Q speed, the Q missile speed, but it's still a really good champion overall. So yeah, pretty much if you guys want to check out all the information about IGN Pro League IPL number 5, well, you can go check out that wiki link I just put up over there. It's on Wikipedia. If you guys don't know what Wikipedia is, where have you been? And you go check out the VODs and all that goodness and stuff like that. Again, guys, this has been episode 30. Testing 1, 2, 3. L3 IOD the bird. Getting in some words again for you all again. I want to thank everybody around over on the top left of Definitive Esports. You can go check them out, d-esports.com. But also check out the sponsors, which is also on the top left, a little bit smaller, but still in our hearts the best. XMG, Antec, Triton, BenQ, and Mad Cats. Please go check them out if you can. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. It has been L30. Going to be signing out.